again, I'm not against hybrid working. I'm really not. But I'm seeing it now that lots of people are taking advantage of it. Now, I said to you at lunchtime, no one's booking holiday now. It's like, I've got a parcel delivered. I'm working from home. I need my washing machine fixed. I'm working from home. My dog's needs to go to the vet. I'm working from home. Or my gran needs to be taken to the shops. I'm working from home. It could be any excuse now to work from home. Do you think if performance starts dying and dipping a bit, that these problems are going to come out even more? Because of course people are going to take advantage of the situation, well, some people, and I'm sure, and lots of people are adhering to working from home and working very hard. But I'm not seeing anyone even take holiday now. I'm hearing in the channel, like, no one ever takes holiday. It's just like, I'm working from home. And if it doesn't fit in with their lifestyle, they don't want to work. I'm actually seeing that now. So basically, no one takes holiday unless they leave the country.
Yeah. I don't know if we're seeing that. I'm not sure I'm hearing that, but it may just be that I'm not. I mean, you speak to many people. Do you know what? I think if you're working hybrid like our teams are, and you've got a package coming, and it's the classic, it's an 8 to 6 delivery, work from home. Why would you take a day off? I mean, that was always probably quite a hard choice, maybe an unfair choice. Anyway, I'm kind of okay with it.
Dentist appointments,
I'm okay with
for
that.
an hour or 2 hours.
I think the thing is that the reality is there's a deal between the employer and the employee that the manager needs to manage, and I think you need to both be on the right side of that deal, and then it's individually managed. And yes, some people won't be, and it's like, well, you've got, it might turn out now we've got something every day that they need to take a long lunch, or it's an appointment in the afternoon, and at some point it's kind of like, that's somewhat what your annual leave is there for,
Yeah.
Which is why I say, I think I said to you at lunchtime, so excuse me if I have said it during this interview because I might have got the time muddled up, but at the end of the day, it's about business success.
Yeah.
It's 100% in the interest of the employer and the employee to run a successful business, because that's how we recruit more people, create better jobs, give people pay rises. And if it isn't working because we've just got the hybrid model wrong, or because individuals are taking advantage of it, then you need to change the deal.
Yeah.
Because the business has to be successful.
You mentioned earlier, and I think it was a really interesting point about these teams were created pre-pandemic. So even though we went through a pandemic and we were forced to work from home, the teams were already created. What's your view on promotion? Like, you've had a successful career, you've been promoted many times. I'm guessing you haven't been promoted during a pandemic because obviously you'd already had the job. But would you recognise them from promotion if you hadn't seen them for a few or 4 or 5, 6 weeks, or you never met them? How difficult is it to be recognised for promotion if you haven't even met them?
You have met them, but met them
virtually.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? We've recruited a lot of really amazing talent without, and didn't meet a lot of them until we were back in the office. So right. I think we've done that very successfully. The concern I do have, though, and it's a very real one, is when people start, how do they then develop? Yeah. Because if I think of those sort of early days when I joined Computer 2000 and needs to learn, how to sell for the first time, how to utilize data for the first time, it was the fact that my boss was sat next to me hearing me screw up a call. Or me holding the phone and saying to the person, he's asking me this, I don't know what the answer is. Yeah. Or listening to them do a great call. Or saying...
By osmosis, you'd learn by...
Yeah, and you've got a spreadsheet that does that, so use it. Can you fire it over to me?
Yeah.
That doesn't exist in a virtual environment. No, you can't learn like that. And there is a concern about how that happens. And therefore, there is an argument, particularly for people at the beginning of their career, that maybe hybrid working is less available during those early days of, like I say, taking first or second jobbers on board, where they need to, you've got to think about how are they going to develop. And if the answer is they're going to develop from the people around them, then virtual's not great.
So moving on from that, you've seen the thoughts on the sort of recent UK-based trial that thousands of people are taking part in the 4-day week. So this is 80% productivity, 80% of the time for 100% of the salary. Is that something you'd consider at Tech Data? Would you do that?
Very interested to see how it goes. I think the bit that gets from the objectors to that, the bit that I think is a legitimate objection that we need to understand how people get over, is when you're in a service-based environment, how does that work? How do you ensure that each one of those weekdays, in our case, generally speaking, are served as well to our customers on a 4-day week as they were to a 5. Now, if you can answer that, I think there's a good conversation for us to have about it, to be honest. I think everyone's looking for the reasons why it wouldn't work because it's so revolutionary and the 5-day week's been in such a long time. But I'm genuinely interested. It's a bit like the hybrid working thing. You know, if from a macro perspective, what workers are asking for, and I'm a worker and you're a worker. No, you're not. You're one of the the fascist employers.
Big bad wolves.
Yeah, you're one of the big bad wolves. But I count myself as an employee. Is if what workers want is a better deal, and hybrid working is part of that to get a better quality of life, and a 4-day working part of that, and we can get business success doing that. I think that's great, and I think that's a really nice adjustment that shows that society is improving.
Do you think again? You're right. I am an owner. Do you think it's gone too much in the candidate's power? Because I'm seeing a lot of companies using, I believe, tactics to attract candidates over. I.e., you can work when you want, wherever you want. We'll pay you £1 million. We're 1,000% the target every single month. We're fantastic. We do a 4-day week, and we provide lunch every day. And of course, pulling people out of companies, and then they find out that it's not true. But it's a bit of a PR tactic as well now. So people are jumping on the bandwagon saying we're hybrid working with this, with that. We're going to Marbella every single week. Do you see a lot of that from your competitors or in your industry?
We're competing for fewer resources, so that should be the case. And like I say, those things are often stacked in the employer's favour. It happens to be in the employee's favour. I'm pretty comfortable with that, actually. As hard as it is, sometimes to go and attract that talent and retain them, I don't have a big problem with it. I think the challenge there will be if businesses are starting to put things strongly into policy, big decisions at this point, which I would say is an experiment of not whether hybrid work can work, but what kind of hybrid work could work. So you heard big statements at the start of the pandemic from really large organisations in the top sort of 10 in the world saying the office is dead, people can work remotely, and then they kind of flip-flopped.
They've gone back
on that. And I think, I don't know why you need to make a grand statement either way. I think the thing to say is, we're going to try some stuff. We want to get the balance right. We're going to listen, and we're going to look at our success as a business, and we'll see how it goes. And we're all in it together. Is kind of my view of it.
Yeah, great answer. The last couple of questions you mentioned there about attraction and retention. There's not many people about the skill shortages. People are attacking other people's candidates all the time now. What are you doing at Tech Data to look at attraction? You mentioned careers fairs, and also, but retention, keeping people happy.
On the retention, the thing that you can probably be most proud of in a company, and we certainly are at Tech Data, is how many people progress through the organisation. When it's an enormous amount, the vast majority of people that move into team leader, management, senior management positions have progressed through Tech Data. And we are doubling down on that. So we're doing more training than ever. We're doing more innovative, more interesting, more relevant training than ever. And that's a good way of retaining people. And then we do things like, for people who are starting in the company and new in sales, we provide a sales progression model. Do this amount of training, and at this point you'll get a pay increase, and you can see regular paybacks from doing that. And we're going to expand on that program throughout the organization. So there's some really good retention things. On top of that, but it's actually very difficult to get these to land, we have an enormous number of benefits that we provide to people. But actually, until people really need them, they don't necessarily know that they are there.
Exist.
So we have to PR that sort of stuff a lot more around wellness and mental health, and actually, horrible GP crisis we've got in the UK at the moment. Anyone who signed up to our booth program, which is the vast majority of our team, can access a GP 24 hours a day, same day.
Wow, brilliant.
If that's not contradicting it, but anyway, you could at 8 o'clock in the morning see someone by 11, or see someone at midnight if you want, and so we need to kind of push those things down more. On the attraction thing, a big element of that is the DEI bit. The we want to be a good employer where people feel comfortable coming into our buildings to feel like they can be themselves. If you just took the business outcome element of that, it means that you are open up to the whole of society because they look at your brand and say, I will be welcome there.
Yeah.
So we've got a big push on ensuring that, A, we are that organisation because we're not looking to fake it, that we are a fair, equitable organisation where people can feel good. And the feedback is that people do, but we need to make sure that in Basingstoke, Bracknell, Warrington, Dublin, Magna Park, that people understand that. Is the one thing. And the second thing, there is this piece of work that we need to double down on now is being sure what it is that we want from people who are coming into the organisation. Because it's too easy. Why are you smiling at me like that?
That's so nice.
It's just so
I'm
weird.
listening, David.
I know, but I don't like it. It's the second time you smiled at me.
Stop it.
Feedback's a gift. I don't like it. Of being really specific about what it is that we're hiring for so that it opens up the biggest population to us as possible. The tighter your criteria are, the more likely people are going to rule themselves out. And actually the data says the more women are more likely to rule themselves out. You put 10 criteria in, a man might say, I can do those 6 and I can bullshit those 4. A woman will be like, okay, I need to hit all 10. And I'm not willing to pretend I'm something that I'm not. Well, then why have 10, There's probably 4 or 5 things that we want from most people in a first or second job,
No.
Put those teeth away.
Right, my last question, because you're upsetting me now. So my last question. So give me the sort of prediction of next year for tech data. Where do you see tech data moving into next sort of 2023? What's the view?
Areas of our aim is that everything should grow. So the aggregate should grow. Every element of our business, its raison d'etre is to grow and add more value. The specific areas of growth, the high growth areas for us are cloud, data, anything data-based, security, analytics, IoT, and anything services-based. You kind of think, what is at the end of kind of promoting the laptop? Is the laptop an interesting product for us? The number of services, finance, recycling as a service that we can put around a laptop, everything that we put into it is huge, better than ever, bigger than ever. So I would include services in that all the way up to us. We own quite a lot of IP, adding that level of service into our customers. Those are the bits that are going to grow. And then at the end, part of the end product to our customer is them having our tools embedded in their organizations. InTouch is, we started it in 99. So what is that? Because one of the first jobs I had was putting data into InTouch. So that's 23 years ago. InTouch is used by tens of thousands of people every day as a point to go to for education, price, availability, returns, managing their credit online. Doubling down on those services where we become, like I say, more of a utility, the gas, the electric, for our customers. The more we do that, the better it is for them and the better it is for us because we can build those things and they don't have to.
Yeah. David, you've been a great guest. Thanks so much for your time.
Pleasure. Thanks very much.
Cheers,
Mark.